back to winning isn't easy. Let's talk about strategies to build a strong claim and avoiding a claim denial. What can you do to protect your rights and give your disability claim the best chances of success? I think there are 5 proactive steps that you should take, regardless of whether you have a vascular malformation claim or any other type of disability claim. Number 1, build that medical record early and often. Don't wait for a crisis. Get documentation of every symptom that you have and how it impacts your ability to work. And make sure that your doctor is making that an integral part of your records. The more detailed, the better. Obviously, keep a copy of any document that you're giving your doctor that will provide an explanation of your symptoms and functionality. Number 2, tell your doctor about how your condition affects your job. Now, you have to understand you've not insured your job, you've insured an occupation. So you need to understand how the policy or plan defines that term. But once you understand that and potentially get a copy of your employer's job description, you want to be able to clearly explain to your doctor, preferably not only orally, but in writing, what problems you're having. So it might be, I forget conversations that I've had in the morning. I get dizzy walking across the office. After I have a seizure, I need several days to recover. And this is how I feel, and here's the sequela that I have of the seizure. So detail really matters, symptoms and functionality. Number 3, keep a weekly symptom log. Now, I know that can be really depressing, but I think it also shows the consistency of the symptoms that you are having and the impact that they have on your function. So you might want to write down what happens each day. You might have headaches, cognitive slips, fatigue. As a result, you may miss appointments. You may make errors at work. You might have emotional issues like irritability, or you might have anxiety about having a seizure. This isn't necessarily therapeutic, I think. I think it'd be, kind of depressing to write this all down, but it is documentation that's essential to a claim, because without this documentation, disability carriers and plans have that tendency to say, well, you worked before, nothing's really changed, or nothing has really progressed. It's just status quo and you worked before. Again, it's documentation. Number 4, don't underestimate surveillance or social media. Disability carriers are going to look at all of your social media accounts and even more. What do I mean by more? They may hire someone to follow you. That's called surveillance. What they do is if they find that your posts or activity contradict your claim, they will use that against you. They will probably give you a call to discuss how you're doing and ask open-ended questions about your activities that can lead people to exaggerate. They'll then compare what you've told your doctor to what you just said to them. And then they'll compare it to what you put on your activities of daily living form. And then they'll compare it to social media posts. They're looking for inconsistencies so they can go back to the doctor and say, look, in rendering your opinions about this person's restrictions and limitations, you relied on their representations to you about what they could or couldn't do. And by the way, doctor, guess what we found? Do you think you want to change your mind about your restrictions and limitations? And that happens. So I want you to be honest, and I want you, please think twice before doing anything online. Either yourself, your spouse, friends, or other family members. You need to be out of the public social media eye. Number 5, know your policy. Now, I talked about that a little bit earlier by saying you need to understand what your occupation is, but you also need to understand what is disability. You also need to understand, are there mental health or subjective policy limitations that will limit your benefits to just 2 years? Those are crucial terms in your policy or plan that will help you understand what it is you need to prove and help you identify traps that can be found in the policy. One of the traps might be that they say you aren't getting appropriate medical treatment for your medical condition with the frequency that's required or the intensity that's required. That's in another section of your policy under medical care. So that's why I think it's really important that you read the policy or plan. And if you have any questions, consult with an experienced ERISA disability or IDI disability attorney. vascular malformations of the brain are serious. They're often invisible. And insurance companies are not necessarily looking for the damage that you live with every day. You deserve to be heard, you deserve to be believed, and you deserve to get the benefits that you have paid for. In other words, you have spent money to buy a disability insurance policy if in the event something like this happened. You wanted to give your family financial peace of mind, and you wanted to give yourself emotional peace of mind. So please don't let a disability carrier deny or terminate your benefits wrongfully. You've got rights. Remember that. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Winning Isn't Easy. If you found this episode helpful, please take a moment to like our page, leave a review, and share it with your family and friends. And of course, please subscribe to this podcast. You may have noted that at the beginning of each episode description, there's a link where you can send us questions or comments. And I tell you, I love to answer questions. So please ask me some questions. And please join us next week for another insightful episode of Winning Isn't Easy. Thanks for listening.